Now, we've been talking about hitting the roots all the time, but you can also target non-root tones in the bass line. And the easiest way to start to do that, and there's nothing easy about it, but the best way to start to do that is once you learn how to target the roots and can smoothly move that way, then target another of the chord tones like the third. And when you're targeting a third, it creates a real subtle sound in the bass line. It's subtly different. It's hard to pinpoint really to the listener what's different. It's just a different, slightly different approach. It sounds like this. Now I'm targeting the thirds of every chord. F sharp on a D, B on a G, E on a C, F on a D minor, B on a G, E on a C, A flat on an F minor, D on a B flat, G on an E flat. This is targeting the third. Now if we could target the fifth, it sounds like this. G on a C. Everything is the same. There's still steps and leaps, but I'm targeting a different note beside the root. I'm being rootless. Here's the fifth. Okay, that's a really kind of a hip thing. So you can practice doing that. You can practice writing out bass lines where you're targeting the third, the fifth, and the seventh. And then you're still ascending with steps and leaps and arpeggios and things like that. But you're just targeting a different chord tone besides the root. A nice technique is what we call repetitive patterns. And this is something that you would, it's almost like a Baroque kind of a thing, like a Bach thing, where you take a basic pattern and you'll repeat that pattern. And you can kind of play it out for a while and then drop it and go back to your steps and leaps. Stepping and leaping. This is using a repetitive pattern. Alrighty. Okay. Another thing we can use is what we call a smudge. A smudge is like a grace note, a half step below a bass line note, like this. Kind of makes it sound a little funny. We call that a smudge. Sometimes it's good to use the same finger, and sometimes you can't, but when you can, it's a nice effect to use the same finger. Changes the texture of the sound. It's just got this great forward motion. We'll use the smudge. Here, boom, 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 boom. Dave McKenna uses this a lot in his playing. It's great. Okay. Now, most times the bass line has a 4 feel to it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The feel is just in generally 4/4, and you're feeling in groups of 4. It has a 4 feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But you can also change that, and an interesting change of rhythmic context is to use a 3/5 rhythm. This is real advanced. You'd have to change where the chords are coming in this way. But the 3/5 rhythm sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'd have to bring the chord in early if you use that. 1, 2, 3, 1. But it really breaks up that basic 4 feel. There's a 4 feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Hope you're catching some of this. And then you can also use a 2 feel like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, Okay. And the last of the advanced techniques will be a pedal point. And a lot of times we'll use that on the fifth of the chord, but it could be used on the root as well. And that adds a whole lot of tension to the bass line. So a pedal point will go like this. Steps and leaps, pedal point. Are there any questions at this point? Are people following? Yeah, go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah, so the 3/5 rhythm. So for taking Green Dolphin Street,
Right.
It wouldn't change where you come in because 3 and 5 come out to 8. So you play C major 7 and you come in with the C minor 6 at the same time you usually would.
Right.
But by the time you're on the D minor 7 to G7,
Right.
you would scoop the G7 over a single beat.
That's right. So Elias is asking the question, when you have the 3/5 feel, if you have one chord in a measure or one chord in every two measures, then it's not going to change the placement of the chord. But if you have two chords in a measure, then it will change the placement of the second chord. And you'll have to bring that in early. And for improvising, it's very interesting to change the feels up. I'll show you what I mean, like this. We'll stay on this tune just a little longer. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the chord placement will be changing with that, and that's a lot of fun. That's hard to do. But what we want in any kind of a musical creation is we want to shift concepts, we want to change what we're doing, slight variations in many different things is what keeps it interesting, especially with the bass line, which tends to be a kind of monotonous kind of a feel in a way. But when we change all these steps and leaps and we change the rhythms and so forth, it keeps it interesting to the listener.